Association, WBHF, and Prestige Vision 4 bring you coverage of the 1999 AA State Tournament from Weinman Stadium as the Hurricanes meet up with Dade County tonight. The Canes riding a perfect 11-0 record and fresh off a big victory over Grady on this same field a week ago, 55-28. They'll meet up with, of course, the number 3 seed out of Region 6, Dade County. The Wolverines roll into Cartersville tonight riding a 9-2 overall record. And, of course, they're the 3 seed out of Region 6, a very competitive region with Carrollton, Villa Rica, Pepperell, and Cedartown, the top teams in that region. And we're going to throw it to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll break down the starting lineups in tonight's game. Just about ready to play football here at Weinman Stadium. Both teams in the locker rooms receiving their final words of preparation. And now it's time to take a quick look at the starting lineups for tonight's game. And we'll start it all off with the Cartersville Hurricanes as they're playing in their 12th game here in 1999. And a huge matchup as they meet up with Dade County out of Region 6 AA. We take a look now at the starting lineup. The front 5 for the Canes: Josh Brock, Tommy Higginbotham, Matt Montgomery, Luke Bunce, and Derek Count. Expect Albert Turner to play in place of number 52 on the offensive line at the guard position, and that'll add a little bit of size in there. Of course, Higginbotham injured last week against Grady. The tight end is Maverick Bagley, doing a great job of blocking. Also expect to see Courtney Chapman in at the tight end position tonight. Lavada Johnson is the split end, and Teddy Slocum will be the wing back. The A-back out of the wing T is Ronnie Brown. The fullback is J.J. Chapman. And calling the signals tonight will be senior quarterback Chris Deach, who has done a phenomenal job this year. We talked all season long about how well he's done with the signal calling. Along the defensive front for the Hurricanes, Charles Fluellen, Albert Turner, Colby Brinson, and Jody Fletcher, the front 4. And they'll have a big task tonight, stopping a very good running offense. Taking a look at the linebackers for the Hurricanes: Courtney Chapman, Jamarcus Watley, and Wes Gilmer. And they've done a great job all season. Also tonight, expect J.J. Chapman to be in that mix a little bit. The defensive secondary: Lavada Johnson, Ronnie Brown, Lee Miles, and Wes Ross. Expect another little mix-up in there as they adjust for the run. Look for Wes Ross to go to corner, Lee Miles to be at the other corner. Ronnie Brown should be in the middle playing free safety. Lavada will leave when J.J. Chapman comes in to play linebacker. The Hurricanes going to mix it up a little defensively tonight. This could be a huge advantage because nobody's seen this on film all year long, Matt.
Right, it's a big, tremendous advantage for Cartersville, but the other thing, it also shows that Coach Barton and his coaching staff really respects the running game of Dade County if they're willing to take a defense that's been very physical and very dominant and played really well as a unit all year long and shuffling pieces around this late in the season. It really shows that Dade County's got a strong running game and definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Well, the Wolverines come into this one 9-2 on the season. The Hurricanes, they are a perfect 11-0. They have not lost here at Weinman Stadium so far this year. They have not lost here since last year's playoff round the same time. Now, obviously, they want to go further than last year's team. That's got to be the goal for tonight. And if they win tonight, that achieves that goal, which was to get further than last year's team. Right now, they've matched them. How motivated are they in the locker room at this point?
I think they're tremendously motivated. I can tell you right now, Coach Barton's probably been playing it up all week, saying, guys, I know we looked great last week. We clicked on all cylinders, but look back at last year. This is what happened to us last year. We looked strong last year in the first round of the playoffs. Maybe we overlooked the second round and we got beat. Don't let that happen again this year. And actually, from this round forward, I mean, the games are only going to get tougher. Once again, we've said it almost all year long, you have to make a statement, and especially in the playoffs. Last week, you made a statement that you can play with a quick team out of the city of Atlanta. This week, you're going to make a statement if you can beat one of the teams out of the highly touted 6AA region, you know, a region that was presumed to be the strongest one in AA.
And the Canes have not gotten a lot of respect for being in Region 7. Many people have been detracting because of that. Well, let me tell you, Region 7 has 3 teams alive here in the Final 16, and that's impressive. Only one of the region has it, and that's 6AA.
Right, and you know, if you take a look at Cartersville's bracket, just kind of segueing into that, they've got, if they were to get past this week, they've got to play the likes of either Dade County or Washington County, 2 other teams that are ranked in the top 10. So if you look at that bracket, 3 top 10 teams in that one bracket. So really not an easy draw for Cartersville. Important for them to look strong this week and build to get to even a higher level going into next week's game if they're to advance that far.
Well, it's all going to start in just a few minutes. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and when we come back, the team should be leaving the locker room. Stick around. It's all coming up next. And welcome back to William Weinman Stadium in coverage of the Georgia High School Association and Prestige Division 4's AA state playoffs. We're in round number 2 as the Hurricanes welcome Dade County to Weinman Stadium. As you see the Hurricane captains coming out of the locker room, Lavada Johnson, Albert Turner, Chris Deach, and Ronnie Brown, and they'll meet at midfield in just a second for the coin toss. But Matt, the emotion that is running through these kids' minds right now as they come out of the locker room, this is a packed house crowd at Weinman Stadium. These are more people than I've ever seen here before. Definitely
the biggest crowd of this season and the most vocal to this point. We haven't even kicked off the football game yet. I was at the state championship game in '91. Still got a ways to go before we get to that level, but as I look over the crowd, there's still a lot of people filing in. We may be shoulder to shoulder all the way across these stadiums before the game kicks off.
It is definitely standing room only as the captains come out to midfield. You see Frank Barton. He's giving his team that final instruction in Hurricane Alley before they come out on the field. The Canes will be ready to roll as they come out to midfield. The captains meeting at midfield. And the crowd on their feet here at William Weinman Stadium. Captains out on the field meeting for the coin toss. Darian Jordan, J.J. Pangle, Mason Bradford, and Randy Raines are the captains for the visiting Dade County Wolverines. Referee not using the audio tonight, so he'll hopefully pick that up when the game goes on. But the Wolverines now assembling in the end zone on the north side of Weinman Stadium. The Hurricanes still in the alley getting their final words of preparation before they run through the smoke. And the Canes with a huge matchup tonight. I mean, what can you say about this game? We've touted it all week long. It's all anyone's talked about all week long. Obviously the biggest game of the season. The winner, a berth in the state quarterfinals. The loser tonight, they begin basketball season as the Hurricanes start to come through the smoke here at Weinman Stadium. Those are your 1999 7AA region champions as the Hurricanes take the field here at Weinman Stadium.
It's like they put a little extra smoke in the machine tonight, Scott.
New canisters at the stadium earlier this week. I saw them installed.
I guess that'd be a Class 5 Hurricane.
Well, now it's just time to play the game, Matt. We're minutes away from kickoff as the Hurricanes stand in front of their banner. Tonight it says state champs with a big question mark. And a win tonight just brings them one step closer. They're 4 wins away from the coveted ring. The fans are on their feet here at Weinman Stadium as the Hurricanes come through the banner, and it's time to play football at Weinman Stadium. The storm watch has been issued, and the Canes are ready to play. Dade County on the far side of the field. Gold helmets, white shirts, and maroon pants for the Hurricanes. They're in the gold helmets, the purple jerseys, and the white pants tonight.
And just a perfect evening for football, Scott. Rained for much part of the early part of the day, cleared up around noon. Now the temperature has dropped. I was down on the field before the game. The field conditions are not going to be an issue. It's dry. I mean, it's not dry, but it's not moist, and it's not muddy. The field is not going to come into play. The ball's not going to get wet or anything. So you're not going to have to take much of that into consideration. But gosh, you can't say enough about the crowd, the emotion before the game even kicks off. Just really an emotional setting and a great time of year for football.
Well, Chris Deach warming up for the Hurricanes tonight. Great numbers on the season. Over 1,000 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions for Deach. He's had a great year so far. We'll see what he can do tonight. Those are his regular season numbers. 13 touchdowns. He has 15 on the season after 2 touchdown passes against Grady last week. And he'll be a big component of this weekend's games. The Hurricanes will kick it off. Chris Griffin will do the honors again as they're going to put the defense on the field. Back deep to receive for the Wolverines. In the middle of the field, number 1, Adam Burrell. He'll be the guy returning it. Most likely, Griffin likes to stick him down the middle of the field, so we'll see what happens. The Hurricane fans are on their feet here at Weinman Stadium for the kickoff of round number 2 of the 1999 AA State Playoffs. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and there are lots of people in town in Cartersville. Griffin awaits the whistle from the referee. And here come the Hurricanes. He sends it right down the middle of the field. Burrell picks it up at the 15-yard line. He's across the 20, still on his feet at the 25, gets outside, and is brought down at the 26. Now the Hurricane defense will go to work against this Dade County offense.
Dade had a real big wedge set up that time. A great job by the Cartersville coverage team, making great contact and actually busting up the wedge, and Burrell not having anywhere to go. Cartersville with a respectable position here to start the ball game defensively.
Hurricanes come out defensively with the 4-4 front. And Dade County goes to the run, and Jordan right up the middle, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten 2 on the play. And the Hurricane front 4 comes up big with the tackle there. So on the first play of scrimmage for the Wolverine offense, they get 2, maybe 3. Brings up 2nd and 7. They came right between the tackles like we thought they would.
You get a good glimpse of what Darian Jordan could do with the football. He was met at the line of scrimmage and kind of pushed the pile. Obviously going to have to wrap him up with multiple players to keep him in check tonight.
Hurricanes up at the line of scrimmage defensively. They spread the line and they go right at the middle to the fullback. He's hit in the backfield, knocked down by number 34. Big tackle there for Jamarcus Watley as he comes up to meet the ball carrier. Hit him right at the line of scrimmage. He kind of pulled away for another yard. Brings up 3rd and about 5 for the Wolverine offense. The clock goes under 11 minutes here in quarter number 1. And a big stand here on 3rd down for the Hurricane defense.
Kind of surprising, Cartersville not really respecting the passing game of Dade, or at least early on in the game. They do not go to a nickel package. They stay in that base 4-4.
Wing to the right side, they drop back to pass, throwing across the middle of the field, and it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of number 1, Adam Burrell, and the Hurricanes are gonna get the ball as they've held on the first series here offensively as the Wolverines gain a couple yards, but go 3 and out, and the Hurricanes are gonna get the football. Lee Miles back deep to receive.
Scott, I'm a little bit surprised. There's been a little bit of slipping and sliding. I was down on the field in a pair of dress shoes before the game, and it didn't seem like that was going to be a factor. But so far, players in cleats tripping. That time, Lee Miles kind of stumbled on his cut. Fortunately, the pass falls incomplete.
So the Wolverines getting set to punt it away. The snap is up, and they just get it away. Lee Miles back deep to receive, and we've got a penalty flag on the play. That's going to go against the Canes, roughing the kicker. And a tough break as the ball is down to the 32-yard line.
And what may be even a tougher break, Albert Turner, the player in on that, kind of hobbled on that play. He's expected to play on both sides of the ball tonight.
to the referees meeting, and it's going to go against the Canes, and it'll back them up some. And it'll remain Dade County football with the automatic first down. So a huge break for the Wolverines. That sticks the ball up at the 48-yard line. So the ball's on the 48-yard line of Dade County as the Wolverines come up to the line of scrimmage. 10:21 to go here in the opening quarter. Still no score from Weinman Stadium. They go wing to the left side of the formation, high backfield. They pitch it off to Darian Jordan, and he gets hit right at midfield. After a gain of 1 on the play, the Hurricane defense holds strong as they come right after him and bring him down. Albert Turner, who was limping after the last play, seems to be okay. He's kind of walking off that ankle injury as you see Darian Jordan on your screen.
And Charles Llewellyn holding his position that time, able to stuff it right here. You can see on the replay, nothing real fancy, just a toss sweep to the left side. And Charles Llewellyn able to fight off his blocker and make the tackle right there near the line of scrimmage. Gain of 1.5, maybe 2.
Brings up 2nd and 8 for the Wolverine offense right at midfield. 9:37 to go here in quarter number 1. Still no score. Wing to the left, and they give it to Jordan again. He's got a hole as he gets outside. He's broken a tackle. He's loose in the backfield. He's across the 30-yard line, the 25, and brought down at the 23-yard line of Cartersville, and the Wolverines are on the move. A big play there by Darian Jordan, and the Hurricanes are backed up now defensively, back to their own 21-yard line. And the penalty becomes very, very costly now. Not only did it give them 15 yards, but possession, and now they're threatening. So a first down for the Wolverine offense at the 21-yard line as they break the huddle and come up to the line of scrimmage. Gene Nelson brings his troops up out of the power eye this time, and they go right up the middle to Darian Jordan. He's across the 20-yard line down to about the 18. A gain of 3 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 7 for the Wolverine offense.
On the right side of that Dade offensive line, doing a good job of getting a good push. Jordan not needing much room to get through there. He's running the ball very hard. And Cartersville just need to step up there a little bit quicker and get a bunch of bodies on him to slow him down.
2nd and a long 6 for the Wolverine offense. Wing to the right, and they go right up the middle again. This time Williams takes it, and he gets close to the 15-yard line. Gains a couple on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd and about 4. And once again, another huge 3rd down conversion for the Dade County offense, and probably even a bigger play for the Cartersville defense at this point. Ball on the 16-yard line as the clock continues to run. 8:04 to go here in the first quarter.
I'll look for them to run this play, Scott. They've had success running behind the wing side of that eye.
Wing to the right side again. Burrell out wide, and they pitch it to Jordan outside, and he's hit hard and brought down. Got about halfway to the marker and couldn't get any further, and it brings up 4th down, and a crucial call now for Dade County. Do they have a kicking game?
I don't know, but I know Jamarcus Wiley has a hitting game, and with that extra linebacker in there, he has an extra step to the left side of the field. That time showing great range and making the tackle just short of the first down, and it looks like they're going for it.
4th and a yard, and they bring in a big back that came out of off the sideline, so obviously they're going to go double tights. The Hurricane fans on their feet. Probably the biggest play of this game so far as the Wolverines up at the line of scrimmage. Out of that power eye, 2 tight ends, and the Hurricanes jump off sides. Wesley Gilmer came across the line on the left side of the formation. So the long snap count fooled the Hurricane defense.
Well, the second penalty of the evening. Cartersville really shooting themselves in the foot defensively here. Not only the second penalty, but also the second time that the penalty has given Dade a first down and let them continue the drive.
So Dade County, 1st and 10. Operating inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. So 1st and goal as they pitch it to Jordan. Jordan's hit in the backfield and brought down. No gain on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and goal for the Wolverine offense.
Charles Fluellen making another great play, holding his ground. And, you know, Dade County, yes, they are running behind that wing side of the field. Right now they've got one of their linemen, J.J. Pangle, in as the wing back, serving as an extra blocker. So, yeah, they're getting a good push on that side. It's because that right side of the line is so loaded, Cartersville simply outnumbered.
Well, Dade County coming up again. They'll run the double tights. That big full backfield, and they give it to Jordan again up the middle, and he's hit after a short gain and brought down. The entire Cartersville defense put a hat on the ball carrier that time, and a good stand defensively as we go under 6 minutes here to play in the first quarter. No score from Weinman Stadium. Hurricanes are yet to touch the football.
And Lee Miles put the exclamation point on that drive. Jordan that time was stood up by a host of Cartersville defenders, and Lee Miles just came back and pushed the pile backwards. 3rd down from the 8-yard line. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of passing game they've got, or if they're even going to go to it at this point.
Dade County with the football, 3rd and goal, and they pitch it outside to Jordan. Jordan gets loose. Now he's at the 5, the 4, and into end zone for the touchdown. And the Wolverines have scored first here at Weinman Stadium. They lead it 6-0 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard.
Just old-fashioned power football. Toss sweep to the left side. Jordan pushing bodies around, breaking tackles, and getting into the end zone. You can see it on the replay. We talked about it in the pregame, nothing real fancy. Good assignment blocking and following his blockers and into the end zone.
Jordan with a good run there, and now they'll come on to attempt the extra point. Adam Williams in to kick it. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it's good, and Dade County leads it 7-0 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. We'll take 30 seconds and come back with the kickoff right after this. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium as the Hurricanes find themselves in unfamiliar territory. They've only trailed once this year. That was at South Forsyth. Hopefully that experience will help them out here in this situation. They trail at 7-0 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard, but the Hurricanes are yet to get the football. This will be the first time they've touched it as we have 5:29 to play in quarter number 1. And Dade County doing a good job of ball control defense as Williams sends this ball deep. Back deep to receive is Courtney Chapman at the 4-yard line. He's across the 10, the 15, and brought down at the 18-yard line, where the Hurricanes will take over 1st and 10 against the Dade County defense with 5:24 to play in the first. As Chris Deach gets the instructions from head coach Frank Barden, and we'll see what the offense can do.
Well, you wondered about the Dade County kicking game. Adam Williams, very strong on the extra point, actually put it onto the track, and then a deep high kickoff, allowing his team to get down there and cover it very well.
The offset eye for the Hurricanes, 2 wide receivers, Teddy Slocum and Lavada Johnson. The tight end to the left side of the formation, Deach goes under center, and he pitches it outside to Ronnie Brown. Brown cuts a lane at the 25, still on his feet at the 27-yard line. A pickup of 7 on the first carry of the game for Ronnie Brown. And the Hurricanes have 2nd and short as Chris Deach comes to the sideline to get the play. Checking into the game now is number 1, Chris Griffin. He'll replace Teddy Slocum as the Hurricanes try to mix it up offensively. And that play looked pretty good on the first run of the game for the Hurricane offense.
Well, there's no need to panic. You know, you're just down by 7. It's early in the game. You still have time to feel out their defense before you go for the big play.
Out of the wing tee this time, Deach under center sends J.J. Chapman in motion, and we got a penalty flag movement on the line, and that'll back the Hurricanes up. 3 costly penalties now for the Hurricanes.
Dead ball, false start on the offense. Feet to down.
There you have the call. So the Hurricanes 2nd and 7 now instead of that 2nd and 3, or 2nd and 8 rather. Deach goes under center, sends J.J. Chapman in motion, and they give it up the middle on the crisscross to Chris Griffin, and he's got nowhere to go, and he's thrown to the turf for a short loss. That'll bring up 3rd and long now for the Hurricane offense. And penalties are just killing us here in the early going of this one, Matt.
Well, you can't expect to be penalized the way they have been early in this football game. Already 3 penalties for 25 yards. 2 of those penalties continuing a Dade County drive. And, you know, it's just not winning football at this point. If you're going to be penalized like that all night long, it's going to be a long night.
Chris Griffin up the middle of the field, gets nowhere. Good stop there by the defense. Number 72 coming on to make the tackle. That's Randy Raines. Hurricanes at the line of scrimmage, out of the wing tee. They send Slocum in motion. Deach dropping back to pass, has some time, looks over the middle of the field, throws it deep, has a wide open Teddy Slocum in midfield. The 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, and Teddy Slocum goes the distance, and the Hurricanes are in the end zone. Just like that, 3rd and long, and the Canes produce big time. What a run by Teddy Slocum as he dogs the entire Dade County defense, and the Hurricanes are a point away from tying this one up at home, and that gets the fans into it here at Weinman Stadium, Matt.
That got everybody into it, Scott, including you and me. Let me tell you what happened there. There was a great job by the coaching staff. There was nothing but film, watching film and scheming. Took Lavada Johnson a short down and out. This was a play we haven't seen all year long. Teddy Slocum just following behind him and then going down the sideline with a great throw by Chris Deach.
So David Thompson comes on to try to tie this one up. The snap is down. The kick is up. And we're deadlocked at 7. We'll take 30 seconds and come back with the kickoff right after this. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium as you see the E-Man taking it to the dome. The Hurricanes struck early in this one here. Down 7-0. They come back big time. A 76-yard pass from Chris Deach to Teddy Slocum. And the Hurricanes have tied things up at 7 apiece. And that is how lethal this Hurricane offense is as Chris Deach comes in to kick this one away. And he gets his foot underneath it, sends it right down the middle of the field. Burrow picks it up at the 16-yard line. He's across the 25, still on his feet looking for some room to run, and is brought down at the 30-yard line where Dade County will take over 1st and 10. 3:25 to play here in the first quarter. And if you look at the scoring drive, Dade County held the ball the entire first quarter almost, 6 minutes and 31 seconds. They held the ball, and then they score. The Hurricanes a little over a minute, and they're in the end zone.
Well, it's time for the defense to make up for the mistakes they made on the first drive. Don't make the mistakes you did the last time. Don't let foolish penalties help out the Dade County offense. If you let a team stay around and help them out with penalties, they're going to be able to play with you all night long.
Dade County at the line of scrimmage, out of the eye, and they give it to Jordan up the middle. Jordan has nowhere to go. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten a yard on the play. Brings up 2nd and 9 as the Hurricanes come right to him. And I got to say, Dade County doing a good job of getting the holes there, but the Hurricane defense doing a great job of coming in and making the plays.
Yeah, the extra linebacker that Cartersville has put in this weekend, J.J. Chapman, has really helped out. It'll be interesting to see if Dade County is able to adjust. Of course, they haven't seen Cartersville play this 4-4 as nobody has this season. And be interesting to see what kind of coaching happens on the sidelines on the Dade County side. See if they alter some blocking schemes.
They gave him 2 yards on the carry. Ball spotted at the 32. It's 2nd and 8 for the Wolverines. Out of the eye. They pitch it off to the right side of the formation. Jordan is hit in the backfield and brought down. A loss of 1 on the play as the Hurricane defense was swarming that time. It'll bring up 3rd and 9. Ball spotted back at the 31-yard line.
Jody Fletcher disrupting that play by getting good pursuit. Wes Gilmer missing a tackle. But free safety, Ronnie Brown, running right up to the line and stopping him for no gain. That just kind of shows you how little they respect the passing game of Dade. If your free safety is coming up and making plays at the line of scrimmage, here we see pursuit from the outside. Actually, that was Wes Gilmer getting the pursuit, but up comes Ronnie Brown, forcing them into 3rd and long.
So 3rd and long, and they drop back to pass. Now under pressure, they throw to the flat. They got a receiver, and he's brought down for a huge loss. And the Cane defense comes up big. Wes Gilmer along with Jamarcus Watley and Charles Llewellyn in on the tackle. And the Hurricanes are going to get the ball back as Dade County's forced to punt. So it brings up 4th and 15, and the Wolverines will have to kick it away. Now the Hurricanes came after the last punt and got the roughing the punter penalty, which kept the drive alive. drive and ultimately led to the touchdown. You think he'll come after it this time, Matt?
Well, the last time it really wasn't a set block. The only preventive measure I could see them taking at this point is not having Albert Turner in there, who did rough the kicker, and he's not in on this play.
2 back deep this time for the first time in a couple weeks as Teddy Slocum and Lee Miles stand just inside their own 40-yard line. And they're going to put the return on as that ball comes down, and Miles fields it at the 45 on the run and is brought down at the 47-yard line. Excellent field position for the Hurricane offense with 1:19 to go in the first. And they struck quickly the last time on a long third down. They got the ball in the end zone into the hands of Teddy Slocum. We'll see what happens now.
Just really don't want to overlook the play, the fearless play of Lee Miles coming up and making that catch on the run. If you let that ball, hit the ground, it's probably going to give you a favorable Dade bounce. And so really, Lee Miles saved his team 15 or 20 yards on that play by coming up and making a catch and taking a hit.
That offset eye again, Griffin and Chapman in the backfield, and they pitch it off to Chris Griffin. Griffin's around the 50, still on his feet at the 45, the 40, the 35, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 34-yard line. A nice pickup from Chris Griffin. 18 yards on the carry with 1:10 to go in the first, and the clock stops as he goes out of bounds, and the Hurricanes are threatening again. Ball spotted at the 34-yard line.
I'm sorry, Scott, the Dade County cornerbacks are playing off the ball about 10 yards. And with their free safety just being the only man deep, it's really given an opportunity using Chris Griffin and his speed to get to the outside. And right there you saw how lethal and effective that was.
Well, the Hurricanes go with Slocum and Johnson. Brown back in at tailback, and they give it to him up the middle of the field. Brown getting outside. He's across the 30, the 25, the 20 as he delivers a hit and goes out of bounds at the 19-yard line. A pickup of about 16 for the Hurricanes, and go ahead and move the chains. Here comes the big purple machine.
And J.J. Chapman with a crushing block on the outside. Actually making great contact and then maintaining the block so Ronnie Brown could get to the outside. Doing exactly what a fullback should do, and that's just move people and tie up defenders and allow the man with the ball to do what he's supposed to do.
1:02 to play here in the first quarter. Hurricanes threatening, ball on the 19-yard line. Inside the red zone, they'll go out of the offset eye again. Griffin and Chapman in the backfield, and they give it to Chris Griffin on the delay up the middle. He breaks a tackle at the 15, lays his shoulder pads down and gets across the 15-yard line, close to the 14, a gain of about 3.5 on the play. And the clock goes under 1 minute here in quarter number 1.
Once again, using Chris Griffin running to the wide side of the field. That time really needed a block from the receiver. Did not get that, but nonetheless able to use his speed to turn the corner and get 3 yards.
So it brings up 2nd and 7 for the Hurricane offense after the gain of 3. Ball sitting on the 15-yard line. We're deadlocked at 7 apiece here at Weinman Stadium on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. Hurricanes bring twins to the left side of the formation, and they go up back to Ronnie Brown, who breaks a tackle. He's at the 15, the 10, the 5, and down inside the 5-yard line. He's brought down at the 4. And the Hurricanes move the chains again. Another first down for Ronnie Brown. And the Canes are in scoring position. 17 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Canes will operate from about the, let's see where the referee puts the ball down inside the 5 at the 4-yard line. He was putting it back at the 6 for a second as the clock continues to run with 13 seconds to go in the first quarter. A full house backfield for the Canes. Chapman, and Brown, and they go right up the middle of the field. Canes trying to push it through, and they power their way in for the touchdown. What a run by the Hurricanes, and that was just smash mouth football inside the 5.
I was really hoping they were going to run that ball to the right side, just like they did the last time. The previous play, Derek Cowan and Albert Turner both with huge hits on the right side of the line. That time, nothing different. They went with full house backfield and went right behind the both of them again. Looked like a rugby scrum and just pushed the line back and into the end zone. J.J. Chapman.
So David Thompson will come in to attempt the extra point after the J.J. Chapman touchdown, and he puts it through, and the Hurricanes lead it 14-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. We'll take 30 seconds and come back with the kickoff right after this. Welcome back to Weinman Stadium as the Hurricanes set to kick it off here. And you take a look at the replay on the touchdown. J.J. Chapman just powers his way, keeps the legs moving, and look at this. Look as he just moves the entire defensive line with him with the help of some linemen. What a great job blocking up front, and what a great job running by J.J. Chapman. The full combination there. The offensive line got him the hole, and Chapman just kept the legs moving as Chris Griffin will now come in to kick things off. He sends it right down the middle of the field. Adam Burrell with the ball at the 20-yard line, still on his feet at the 25, and moves his way across the 30 down to about the 34-yard line. And that's where Dade County will take over. 1st and 10. So the ball spotted at the 34-yard line where Dade County will take over 1st and 10, trailing this one 14-7 as the Hurricanes retake the lead as they've scored on their first 2 drives. And that's the end of quarter number 1. As we take a 1-minute break, we'll come back with quarter number 2. Our score, Cartersville 14, Dade County 7. And welcome back to William Weinman Stadium. Dade County with the ball 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line. Hurricanes leading at 14-7 as we start quarter number 2. Dade County with the football out of the eye, and they jumped off sides. The left side of the offensive line moved, and that should back them up 5. And the first mental mistake by the Wolverines. And they find themselves in unfamiliar territory. We talked all in the pregame show about how they have not seen an offense this good, and that's obvious because they have played very low-scoring games with everybody so far. The only team that really pinned anything on them was Cedartown, who scored 33. The Hurricanes put 14 on in their first 2 possessions.
Right, and you can't always practice speed against speed. You can't practice speed if you don't have the speed to do it. And Cartersville speed at times is very overwhelming, and I look for that to be a factor as this game continues, as well as the conditioning factor with as many players that they have going both ways.
Dade County a little slower coming out of the huddle this quarter as they bring the tight end in the wing to the right side, and they go right up the middle to the fullback, and he gets nowhere on that play. That'll bring up 2nd and long for the Wolverine offense. He might have gotten to the 30-yard line, might have gotten a yard on the play. We'll see where the spot is. They got about half a yard. So it's 2nd and about 14 and a half for that Wolverine offense as we go under 11 and a half minutes to play here in quarter number 2. Canes leading at 14-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. Ball just shy of the 30-yard line as the Wolverines come up to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and long the call. They run with the wing to the left side, and they drop back to pass. Now has some time, and he's hitting the backfield. The ball is loose. It's on the ground, and the Hurricanes have fallen on it, and the Canes have the football deep in Dade County territory.
And there you have J.J. Chapman, the new man on the defensive side of the ball, fighting to get back to the quarterback and finally getting a hand in there, knocking the ball away. And Jody Fletcher, who was also back there, able to fall on it. And Cartersville with an opportunity to put a little breathing room between themselves and Dade. Here he is on the instant replay. You can see Chapman just fighting his way through and knocking the ball loose. And Jody Fletcher, the man on the spot, probably had thoughts of trying to scoop that ball up.
So the Hurricanes with the football, and they go to Chris Griffin, or rather up the middle that time. The Canes with a nice gain. So the Canes with the ball down on the 11-yard line of Dade County. As they pick up 4 on that play, brings up 2nd and 6, and they'll bring Lee Miles into the offensive package. He'll replace Chris Griffin with 10:50 to go here in the first half. Canes leading at 14-7, but knocking on the door again as they come up to the line of scrimmage. The lone setback is Ronnie Brown, the wide receiver to each side. Lovato to the wide side of the field. Lee Miles to the near side. He drops back to pass, throws over the middle, and that ball is incomplete. In and out of the hands of number 85. Matt Miles almost had the interception. He was in good position defensively, and that'll bring up 3rd and about 6 for the Hurricanes offense.
Well, the Wolverines really prepared for that play. It was obvious that they've seen that play, a play that Cartersville likes to run an awful lot, the quick slant in to Lovato Johnson. And at that time, Miles hanging out back there, able to knock it down.
Maverick Bagley checks out of the game. Courtney Chapman replaces him, and this could be key here as the Hurricanes go with sort of a spread out offense, and they go back out. Rolling out is Deach. He throws for the end zone. A wide open J.J. Chapman, and it's just in and out of his hands. J.J. Chapman was looking at a touchdown, and now they'll send David Thompson in to try the field goal to give the Hurricanes a 10-point lead.
Well, Deach took the easier of the two options. J.J. Chapman short of the end zone, and Courtney Chapman did a drag from his tight end position. And he was wide open as well, but both players wide open. Just unfortunate that ball were to fall incomplete.
Chapman couldn't hang on to it, and now the kick team will come in. David Thompson attempting a 27-yarder. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it's good. Thompson connects from 27 yards away, and the Canes lead it by 10. It's 17-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. We'll take 30 seconds and come back with the kickoff right after this. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium as the Hurricanes set to kick it off after David Thompson connects from 27 yards away, and the Hurricanes increase their lead to 17-7. We said Thompson would be a big part of this game earlier in the week, and obviously this is a big kick right there from 27 yards away, his second made field goal of the year. As Chris Griffin set to kick it off from the 40-yard line. And once again, Griffin with just a little short kick. It'll bounce at the 30-yard line. They pick it up on the run, and they run into their own players. Ball is down at the 33-yard line, where Dade will start first and 10. 10:22 to play here in quarter number 2. Hurricanes leading it 17-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard.
I'm sorry, Scott. Both those players look to be shaken up on that play. A key player down for Dade, number 32, Philip Williams, their fullback. He was the player that slammed into the back of looked like number 72, Randy Raines. And Cartersville using a little bit of medicine that was used on them last week. That being the short little pooch kick, trying to cause a little disruption in the return, and that time working very well.
Well, Philip Williams, one of the only players for the Wolverines that doesn't go both ways, but he is the punter and the kicker, so definitely a blow if he can't return. Plus, he's the starting fullback. And they're out, he's now up. But it's one of those, you wonder if he knows where he is. He took a shot, ran into his own player at full speed, and he caught that ball running. So the crowd is on their feet cheering on Philip Williams. And the Dade County offense will go to work from their own 33-yard line. The last series, the Hurricane defense had their number. They're causing the big turnover, which turned into 3 points, and turnovers will be key tonight. 17-7 the score. Ball spotted at the 33-yard line, first and 10, as the Canes load up the line of scrimmage, and they go to Jordan up the middle. Jordan gets nowhere. Gets right to the 35-yard line. A gain of 1 on the play brings up 2nd and 9. So Dade County getting maybe 2 on the play, brings up 2nd and 8. And the Wolverines come up to the line of scrimmage. They say forward progress brought him across the 35-yard line. So Dade County with the football, and they roll out on the quarterback keeper. He goes across the 40-yard line down to about the 41. That'll be close to a first down, but he's going to be about 3.5 yards short. It'll bring up 3rd and short, and a big conversion here for the Dade County offense, and another big play for this Cartersville defense.
First time we've seen Nelson fake the handoff and roll to the outside. Courtney Chapman staying at home, making a big play. 3rd and 3, one of those kind of situations where you could really use your big fullback and Philip Williams to open up a hole. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do here.
3rd and a long 3, the call for Dade County. The Hurricanes looking for help from the fans. Dade up at the line of scrimmage, out of the eye. They bring the tight end to the right side, and they keep it to the quarterback. He's rolling out, has some room. Now he's brought down in the backfield. A big loss back at the 39-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down, but there are flags on the field.
Scott, that flag is going to be holding against Dade. That time Wes Gilmer getting pursuit to the outside was actually held in the middle.
The hold against Dade County. That would back them up a whole bunch. But do you take the penalty or do you decline it and take fourth down?
I say you take the penalty here. You go ahead and back them up and don't even let them think. They can't throw the ball very effectively. At least they haven't to this point. And if you let them go ahead and if you refuse the penalty in fourth down, they may get a little tricky and try a fake punt. It's an interesting area of the field to do a fake punt.
Fourth down.
So they decline the penalty, so it will bring up fourth down.
Just like I said.
So the Hurricanes will go back to receive the punt. Lee Miles. Well, trailing 17-10, I wouldn't expect anything funny out of Dade County. There's still a lot of football to be played. Although the Hurricanes have taken the momentum right now as the Canes load up the line of scrimmage. And they get the snap off. Williams with the kick, sends it deep, end over end. It'll bounce at the 30-yard line and take a Dade bounce down to the 24-yard line, where Cartersville will take over first and 10 with 8:20 to play here in the first half. Canes leading at 17-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard, and the Hurricane fans are on their feet here at Weinman Stadium. So the Hurricane offense will get a crack at it at the 24-yard line.
One other reason I was weary of the fake, remember Philip Williams, their punter, was got off the field and injured. That time it was actually Josh Higdon that came in to punt for him. Didn't know they had that good of a backup punter.
So the Canes with the football. They'll bring twins to the right side of the formation. One back in the offense, that's Chris Griffin. J.J. Chapman on the right side, and they give it to Griffin up the middle. He's across the 30-yard line, out to about the 33. That's going to be very near a Hurricane first down. He's going to be about a yard short as he picks up 9 on first down, and the Hurricanes continue to move the football through this Dade County defense.
And that was a huge hole that the entire offensive line opened up. That particular play, Matt Montgomery leading the charge.
Ball at the 32-yard line. It'll bring up second and short for the Hurricanes offensively. They'll run one back in the offense again. That's J.J. Chapman. They bring Lavada out to the left side. 2 wide receivers to the right side, Miles and Slocum, and they find Lavada wide open at the 45, and he's brought out of bounds at the 49-yard line. They're going to say he stepped out at the 47. Nonetheless, a big-time pickup for the Hurricane offense. 7.5 minutes to play in the first half. Canes leading at 17-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. Ball will be spotted halfway between the 47 and 48-yard line as the Hurricanes move the chains again. And the clock stops until they reset them. Canes up at the line of scrimmage. Once again, they'll run one back in the offense. They bring the wing to the right side. 2 wide receivers to the right side of the formation. Deach under center. Dropping back now on the delay. Gives it off to Chris Griffin. Griffin with nowhere to run. Loses a couple yards and is brought out of bounds back at the 43. Griffin tried to break something, but was hit hard as they got good penetration on the defensive line.
It almost looked like they were pulling a gadget play out right there. For a moment, it looked like Chris Griffin was going to turn around and pitch it back to Chris Deach, but there was so much penetration that he couldn't. I don't know if that was by design or if I just didn't see. We'll take a look at the replay here. No, he just was stopped because of the penetration and really tried to make something out of nothing and then got less out of it.
Canes up at the line of scrimmage. Ball at the 44-yard line. Brings up second and 13 as Deach goes under center. Ronnie Brown, the back in the backfield, tight end to the right side, and they give it to Brown up the middle. He powers his way across midfield. He's loose at the 45, the 40. He heads upfield, dances at the 35, and is brought down at the 33-yard line. A first down carry for Ronnie Brown. 20 yards for the senior back, and the Hurricanes move the chains again. And they're threatening with 6:46 to go in the first half, leading at 17-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard.
Ronnie Brown really showing why he's going to be playing college football somewhere next year. Just an outstanding run, simply running over people and running around them at the same time.
Ball on the 34-yard line. First and 10 for the Hurricanes offense. Ronnie Brown in the backfield. A wide receiver to each side. Slot to the left-hand side of the formation, and they send him in motion. That's Chapman, and they go to Brown again. Brown bouncing outside at the 30. Has some room to run. Turns upfield, breaks a tackle at the 25. The 20, lowers his head, and he's down deep into Dade County territory. But there's a big yellow flag right in the middle of the offensive line, and that one's going to come back. Unless it was a hands to the face or something lucky like that, I think that the Hurricanes are going to lose this one.
Unfortunate, because that was the opposite side that the ball was being run to. If it is a hold, it wasn't one that was going to be important to making the play happen, and that's exactly what it is.
So it is a hold against the Hurricanes. But every time you do this,
That holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot. Repeat first down.
so the Canes will repeat first down. They'll be backed up to the 39-yard line where it'll be 1st and 15. But as I was saying, every time you do this, even though there was a penalty, it just shows Dade County that you're not scared of them, and the Canes can come right at them offensively. And really, I don't see the Wolverines stopping the Hurricanes offense tonight. They have not been able to effectively shut anything down, as Wes Gilmer now comes in at fullback. 4 wide receivers. Deitch dropping back, now under pressure, throws across the middle of the field, and the ball is incomplete, intended for Courtney Chapman. And the pass rush went right by Deitch. He just ducked the coverage, and I guess he just got a little spooked there in the backfield and didn't think he had as much time as he did and rushed the throw a little bit. But nonetheless, a good decision.
The offense line usually does a great enough job that Chris doesn't have to worry about anybody running at him and getting a hit on him. That time, very quick pressure. Mason Bradford coming in. Deitch able to step up and avoid the pressure. Ball just being short to Courtney Chapman, kind of threw the rhythm of the play off just a bit.
Canes with the football. They'll bring 3 wides to the right side of the formation. Deitch dropping back now under some pressure, throws across the middle of the field, a wide open Lee Miles, and it's in and out of his hands. The ball thrown just a little bit high, and that'll bring up 3rd and long for the Hurricane offense with 5:45 to go in the first half. The Canes struggled a little bit with the passing game tonight.
Well, Chris Deitch has thrown the ball pretty well. The last throw to Chapman came up a little bit short, but he also has had a couple of passes dropped. Numbers look good because of the 76-yard touchdown pass he had on his first attempt.
All right, once again, the Canes will spread it out. Wes Gilmer in the backfield for blocking, and the Canes are going to pass it again. Deitch dropping back across the middle of the field. That ball is batted down and intercepted. Number 60 came up with a pick down at the 36-yard line, and Dade County will take over. It was deflected by the offensive line. Or rather, the defensive line got in there, got a hand on it. And then number 60, Will Brogdon, came up with the interception. So Dade County takes over on the turnover. As you see Deitch trying to get some velocity on that ball, and a good effort there by the defensive line to get the hands up in the air. They knocked the ball loose, and then Brogdon is just there with good sense to pick up the football.
Well, you just got to tip your hat to Dade County right there, making a couple nice defensive plays back to back.
Out of that power eye again, they go right up the middle to Jordan, and he gets maybe 1 or 2 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and about 8 for the Dade County offense with 5:27 to go here in the first half. And this is a big stand for the Cartersville defense. They had all the momentum going their way. They need to continue. Ball spotted at the 39-yard line. It brings up 2nd and 8.
Dade County showing no sense of urgency here. They're going to take their time getting up to the line. Still trying to play a little ball control, still very much in the ball game, just down by 2 scores.
Dade County's going to spread it out now. 3 wide receivers to the right side. Nelson rolls back, throws a pick, and Lee Miles has a lane to the end zone. Miles at the 20, cuts back at the 10. Touchdown Hurricanes, and Lee Miles with a huge defensive effort tonight. And what a play there. Miles dropped back, read it perfectly, and took off the other way. And just like that, the Hurricanes are in the house again. It's 23-7. And David Thompson will now come on to attempt the extra point with 4:44 to play here in the first half, as Lee Miles with a huge play defensively, knocking the wind out of the Dade County sails. Thompson, the ball is snapped, it's down, it's up, it's good, and the Canes lead it 24-7. We'll take 30 seconds and come back with the kickoff right after this. And welcome back as the Hurricanes set to kick it off after Lee Miles took back an interception, 45 yards for the score. His 2nd week in a row he's done that, and the Hurricanes are just putting it to the Wolverines right now with 4:44 to play in the first half. On the onside kick, that ball's loose at the 45-yard line. Dade County will pick it up. And the Canes looking to put a little more disaster into the world of Dade County. And the Wolverines just pretty much in complete shock. They have not been taken back behind the woodshed like this so far this year. The only time they've been blown out was against Cedartown, and it wasn't this ugly with 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. But nonetheless, there still is a lot of football to be played, Matt.
The defense really made up for what they did in the first drive and penalizing themselves into Dade scoring that time. Picking the offense up by interception and run back. Second week in a row, Lee Miles has done that.
Ball on the 44-yard line, and Dade goes up the middle, and a deke leader in the backfield as Jody Fletcher comes up. And Darian Jordan will dream about that one.
Jody Fletcher has a great mixture of size and speed. That time reading the snap count, getting a good jump and making the tackle in the backfield. And not just making the tackle, but making a nice hard tackle.
So the ball spotted back at the 43-yard line, brings up 2nd and 11 for Dade County. 4:15 to go here in the first half. Canes leading it 24-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard as Dade County comes up to the line of scrimmage, unbalanced to the right side of the formation. As they bring the wing out with the I formation, they pitch it to Jordan. Jordan gets some penetration, gets up near midfield, and is met hard by the Hurricane linebackers. He got through the first wave of the defense and then was hit hard. That'll bring up 3rd and about 4 now as he picks up 7 on the play.
And that tackle, that big hit made by one of the unsung heroes, doesn't get a lot of credit, but Wes Ross, usually in on tight coverage, that time making a big lick, stopping Jordan in his tracks, short of the first down. Looks like both players kind of feeling the after effects of that one.
3rd and 4 the call. 3.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Canes leading it 24-7. Dade County up at the line of scrimmage. Once again, they'll work out of the I, unbalanced to the right side. Wide receiver out deep to the wide side of the field on the left side of the formation. Nelson goes under center and very, very long snap count. He's trying that freeze count, and they go up the middle as he keeps it himself, and he's not going to get the first down. He might have gotten a yard. He's going to be about 2.5 yards short. It'll bring up 4th down. But you might want to think the Wolverines would go for it at this point.
Well, you get a feel for how their coaches feel about what kind of confidence they have in their offense and in their defense. You know, if you're going to still got a lot of time left in the first half, you don't want to give Cartersville the football back as effectively as they've moved the ball. They do have a pretty good punter and an opportunity to pin them back, but they're going to go ahead and go for it here.
4th and 3. And the Hurricane fans are on their feet here at Weinman Stadium.
Look out for the long snap count.
I formation, Nelson driving back to pass, throws for the flat, and it's incomplete. And the Hurricanes take over on downs. What a momentum switch there. If it hadn't already gone the purple way, look out. Here come the Canes offensively, and they're only 50 yards away from the end zone. And if the Canes could stick another one in right now, that would be huge going into the locker room.
Especially the way Dade has moved the ball with the exception of the first possession. You know, just when they felt like they had things going back their way, made a great defensive play and got the ball back on the interception. Well, they turned it right back over on interception for a touchdown, so a 14-point swing potentially there. A good time to really stick it to them.
Well, Deach will go under center with 2 backs in the backfield. He sends Teddy Slocum in motion, and they give it to Chris Griffin around the right end. Griffin pops outside. He's across midfield at the 45, still on his feet, and he goes out of bounds at the 44-yard line of Dade County. And on the far side of the field, a lot of hooping and hollering at the beginning of the game, and it is dead silence on the visiting side of this stadium.
Well, I give them credit. They brought a lot more fans than Grady did last week, and that a lot further to travel. But to this point, they've been having to stay in their seats with the exception of very early in the game. Cartersville really taking them out of the game. Luke Bunce that time on the right side of the line, making a great block for Griffin, able to get the corner that time.
Ball just across the 45-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and 4 as Deach goes under center. 2 backs in the backfield, and he goes up the middle of the field to Gilmer. Gilmer gets a couple on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and about maybe a long 2. The clock continues to run with 1:38 to go here in the first half. Canes leading it 24-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. And the Hurricanes call timeout, so they'll take a break. We'll take a break with our score. Cartersville up 24-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium. You're watching the Prestige Division IV High School Football Game of the Week and listening to WBHF AM 1450 with 1:31 to play in the first half. The Hurricanes have the football and the lead, 24-7. As they come out, they'll run one back in the backfield. Ronnie Brown, the lone setback, a wide receiver to each side. The wing to the right side, Dietz dropping back, throws to the flat, has a receiver in Lavada Johnson. He breaks a tackle. At the 30-yard line, he's brought down. And the Hurricanes, with another first down, go ahead and move the chains. 1:23 to play in the first half. The Hurricanes are walking through this Dade County defense like a hot knife through butter.
Well, if they're going to continue to give the size cushion that they've been giving these Cartersville receivers, I don't see any reason to throw any other pass pattern but that. That time, just a quick out to Lavada Johnson, big gain of 13, and a simple first down, get to keep possession as that was third down.
Well, Ronnie Brown and Maverick Bagley will leave the field for the Hurricanes. They'll change things up in the backfield as Gilmer and Griffin are in. That offset eye again, three wide receivers, two to the right side of the formation. Dietz dropping back. Rolls out under play action, has some time, now turns it upfield, now throws it deep, has a receiver wide open, is Courtney Chapman. Touchdown, Hurricanes! What a play by the Canes offense! And they tack another 6 on the board. And now they're hitting Dade County where it hurts. 30-7 right now as the Hurricanes bring in the extra point team. What a move there. Dietz rolling out under pressure and just lights it up for a wide open Courtney Chapman. And we said he'd be a part of this offense, and he is. David Thompson coming in to attempt the extra point with 52 seconds remaining in the first half. The snap is down, the kick is up. It hits the upright and is no good, drops straight down, doesn't go through. So the Hurricanes lead it 30-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. We'll take 30 seconds and come back with the kickoff right after this. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium. Hurricanes leading at 30-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. 52 seconds to play here in the first half. And the Canes are showing Dade County that there may be a new power in North Georgia. And I think May might be in the past tense. There is a new power in North Georgia. The Wolverines talking to me earlier. Some of their coaching staff saying this is the same team we brought down here 3 years ago. Well, this is not the same team they saw 3 years ago. Chris Griffin with the football, tees it up and kicks it right down the middle of the field. It's picked up at the 18-yard line. He's across the 20, still on his feet at the 25. Breaks a tackle and gets outside and is brought down at the 34-yard line, where the Wolverines will operate 1st and 10 with 45 seconds to play here in the first half. Canes leading it 30-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard.
And the way the Cartersville defense has been able to read the eyes of Gene Nelson, he's just 1 of 4. The one pass completion that he did have went for -4 yards. You better watch out what you're doing with the football in this possession, because Lee Miles or one of these other guys in the backfield can pick it off and take it back the other way, just like they did earlier.
First 15, ball on the 33.
Well, they'll bring the tight end to the right side of the formation, the slot to the left side, and they go right up the middle. The ball's on the ground, and the Hurricanes have fallen on it. We'll see who comes up with the football, but I think Dade County may have it. It was in and out of the hands of a Cartersville defensive lineman, but Dade County gets lucky there and comes up with the football. And that'll put the ball at the 37-yard line, brings up 2nd and a long 7. Canes are leading at 30-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard as Dade County comes up to the line of scrimmage. 15 seconds to play here in the first half, and they're going to keep it on the ground. They go right up the middle to the fullback, and he gets a couple, and that should do it for the first half. The Wolverines going to go ahead and let the clock run out. And the Hurricanes go into the locker room with a commanding lead. 30-7 here on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. We'll take 30 seconds, break it all down, and then we'll go to the band and back to the studio. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium. You're watching the Prestige Division 4 High School Football Game of the Week and listening to WBHF Radio. And we break down the scoring here in the first half. Darian Jordan took the opening drive for Dade County. They knocked 6 minutes off the clock. It looked like it might be a rough night for the Canes, but Jordan went in from 5 yards away, gave them a 7-0 lead. Then moments later, the Hurricanes go quickly to the air, and 76 yards later, Deach to Teddy Slocum, and the Canes have tied it up at 7 apiece. Then with 1 second remaining in the first quarter, J.J. Chapman took it in from 4 yards away, and the Hurricanes took the lead. It was 14-7. Then with 10:25 to go in the second, David Thompson connected from 27 yards away. That made it 17-7. Then with 4:44, Lee Miles Lee Miles caught an interception, brought it back 45 yards for the touchdown, and the Hurricanes led it 24-7. Then Deach hooked up with Courtney Chapman from 32 yards away to make it 30-7. Well, now we're going to go down to the field with the Cartersville Marching Band, the pride of the city, as they take over, and we're going to turn it over to them right now.
Next will bring you a top 10 tune released in 1997, but reminiscent of a tune from the 1940s. It recalls the big band sound of that era. Can you say Jitterbug? Here it is. Zoot, zoot, riot! to a tune that's more than 30 years old and has been a Cartersville High School favorite all during that time. You'll remember it, the Horse. And now, to conclude tonight's performance, we'll slow things down with arguably one of the biggest hits from the 60s. Originally written and performed by the British rock group Boko Haram, and tonight featuring our very own trumpet soloist, Carlton Jones, we'll close with the #1 hit song from 1967, A Rider State of Fail. Marching Band.
And welcome back to William Weinman Stadium for half number 2 of the second round of the 1999 AA State Playoffs. Hurricanes in full control of this one here as we get ready to start the second half. And the Canes have done it. They trailed 7-0 early on, 30 unanswered points, and the offense is just clicking on all cylinders. They really have not opened up the passing game a whole lot. And when they do, look out, Dade County. The Wolverines pretty much in shock. They took the opening kickoff, drove down, took 6 minutes off the clock. Things looked good, and unfortunately for them and fortunately for the Hurricanes, the Canes train got back on track, and they just kind of derailed the Wolverines. And let's break down some of the stats here in the first half.
Well, Chris Deitch did not throw that much, but he did throw effectively. His 4 of 9 for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. Big bulk of that coming on the long 76-yard touchdown pass to Teddy Slocum, which happened in the first series to get Cartersville back in the game. On the ground, Cartersville been able to amass 100 yards rushing. Most of that from Ronnie Brown, who's got 62 yards on 5 carries, and Chris Griffin, who has 34 yards on 7 carries. Defensively for Cartersville, only allowing Dade County 71 total yards, 75 yards on the ground, and then -4 in the passing. So Dade County not a very strong passing team. We knew that coming in, and as exemplified by the Cartersville defense, holding them for negative yardage. Virtually all the offense, 68 yards of it, coming on the hands and legs of Darian Jordan, who has 68 yards and already 17 attempts. So if you look at the total offense, 71 total yards, 68 of those credited to Darian Jordan.
Well, the Hurricanes will get the ball here to start the second half, and a touchdown here would really just kind of be the final straw against Dade County tonight. The Wolverines still with an opportunity to come back in this one, down by 23, but if the Hurricanes could stick it in again, that could be just lethal for the Wolverines.
Well, they definitely are desperate at this point, and you have to keep your eyes open for the onside kick to start the second half, as that's definitely a possibility.
Well, the way he's lined the ball up against the tee, I would say the Wolverines are looking for the football, and the Canes are starting to bring everybody up a little closer to the line, but nobody defending that wide right side of the field, and now they're going to kick it deep. It's fielded at the 26-yard line. He turns upfield, crosses the 35, and they're out around the 37-yard line, where the Hurricanes will take over 1st and 10. So the Hurricane offense on the field in relatively good field position at the 38-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 with 11:55 to play here in the third quarter. Canes leading it 30-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. Hurricanes up at the line of scrimmage. They'll run with 2 backs in the backfield to start things off. That's J.J. Chapman and Ronnie Brown. They'll bring the wing to the right side of the formation. Now they're going to send Griffin in motion. Deitch snaps and gives it off to Ronnie Brown. Brown bounces outside, has nowhere to go now. Tries to break something happen, turns the corner. He's outside, could have some room as he turns it upfield, and now he's going to be brought down for a short loss. Ronnie Brown going east and west and not a lot of north and south that time, trying to get something going, and he was about 1 tackle away from breaking that one. 11:32 now to go here in the third quarter. Hurricanes leading at 30-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. And hobbling to the sideline is a Wolverine player. That's number 80 leaving the game. So the Hurricanes coming up to the line of scrimmage. Working out of the wing. Offset to the left side, and they under play action. Deitch rolls out, fires for a wide open Courtney Chapman at the 40, the 45, still on his feet and brought down at midfield. A first down for the Hurricanes offensively, a pickup of about 15 on the play. And the Hurricanes will move the chains with 10:56 to go in the third quarter. Leaving the field for Dade County was number 80, and he is not on the roster. So one of those mystery players that changed jerseys. So the Hurricanes make a little substitution as Teddy Slocum checks into the game. He'll replace Chris Griffin, and the Hurricanes will operate from midfield 1st and 10. 10:41 to go here in the third quarter. Cartersville leading it 30-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard, and they'll bring trips to the right side of the formation out of an I backfield, and they go to Ronnie Brown up the middle. Brown breaking a tackle at the 45, the 40, still on his feet. He cuts outside, and Brown could go at the 20, the 10, and Brown is tripped up inside the 5-yard line, and the Hurricanes are knocking on the door again with 10:22 to go here in the third. And Dade County just in complete shock as the Hurricanes are just taking them behind the shed tonight. Maverick Bagley and Charles Flewellen checking into the game. Look for one of those double tight full house backfield sets this time as the Hurricanes are going to run the football deep inside Dade County territory. Ball at the 21, and you see the instant replay here. Ronnie Brown with great blocking upfield from the offensive line, turns it up at the 40, gets outside, gets a great block there, and Brown gets outside. A great pursuit angle by the Dade County defense. Hurricanes out of the full house backfield. Deach will go under center, double tight ends, and the Hurricanes give it to J.J. Chapman up the middle, and he powers his way near the goal line. It's going to be a little bit short. It'll bring up second and goal with 9:51 to go here in the third quarter. Hurricanes are leading it 30-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard.
Scott, that last run by Ronnie Brown puts him at 104 yards tonight on only 7 carries.
Second and goal for the Hurricanes inside the 5. 9:31 to go in the third as the clock continues to run, and the Hurricanes letting it go as they come up to the line of scrimmage. Once again, they'll work out of the full house backfield. Chapman, and Gilmer in the backfield. Gilmer in the middle. And they give it right up the middle to Wesley, and he bulls his way close to the goal line. No signal yet. He's going to be very, very close if he didn't get in. He tried to dive over the pile to get into the end zone, and it's going to be just a little bit short as Chris Deach comes over to the sidelines to get the call. And that's about as close as you can get without getting in the end zone. That ball is spotted about 2 or 3 inches shy of the goal line. And the Hurricanes come up on third down, and once again they'll run out of the full house backfield. Double tight end set. Dade County gets in close, and the Canes go right up the middle of the field, and Chris Deach trying to roll out under play action, and he's caught for a 4-yard loss back at the 5-yard line. So the Hurricanes will bring in the kick team and a chance to make it a 3-touchdown lead.
Deach actually losing possession on that as he pulled away from center. Fortunately, the ball bounced up and he was able to recover it. Kind of got twisted a kind of funny way as he picked it up and was hit. Fortunately, not injured on the play, but Thompson in for the field goal.
So David Thompson coming in to attempt the field goal. He hit a 27-yarder earlier in this game. The snap is down, the kick is up. And Thompson splits the uprights, his second field goal of the game, and the Hurricanes lead it 33-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. We'll take 30 seconds and come back with the kickoff right after this. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium as the Hurricanes lead it 33-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. They took the opening kickoff here in the second half, marched right down to the inch line, but couldn't get the touchdown, so they settled for the field goal, and the Canes lead it 33-7 as they kick it right up the middle of the field to the first up man, and he's caught and hit right as he catches it at the 44-yard line. And the Hurricanes are just kicking them short here on the kickoffs, and Dade County flirting with disaster there. They've been able to hang on to the first 2 short kicks by the Canes, but it's only a matter of time before that kickoff team comes up with one.
Did you have any insight to this strategy earlier in the week with your conversations with Coach Barden?
No, I didn't mention that at all. We didn't really talk about kicking. We talked about the field goal kicking, how important that would be tonight, but he didn't say much about kicking it off. Dade County with the football out of the I, wing to the left side, and they go to Jordan up the middle, and he's hit right in the backfield and brought down. Actually, that's not Jordan, that's Jason Rochester.
Number 4, J.J. Chapman, and 44, Joe.
Darian Jordan not in the game. I don't know his status. If I think back to the end of the second quarter, I didn't see him then either. All right, Dade County with the football up at the 44-yard line. 2nd and 11 the call. They go unbalanced to the right side of the formation. Trips bunched in, and they drop back to pass. Nelson goes to the flat, and the ball is incomplete. Ball intended for number 86, Chuck Alsobrook. And that'll bring up 3rd and long for Dade County.
On that play, they bunched up the right side of the formation with receivers and tried to run an old-fashioned pick play, sending a bunch of receivers to the inside to try to pick off the defender that was supposed to be covering on the outside. At that time, the ball simply overthrown as good coverage was there anyway.
So 3rd and 11 the call as Dade County comes up to the line of scrimmage. They'll work with one back in the backfield as they spread the field. 3 wide receivers set. Nelson dropping back, now under pressure, and he's hit hard in the backfield and brought down with a sack. Hurricanes got in there quickly defensively.
That was J.J. Chapman that time, taking on the fullback, B.J. Stallings. Stallings, the backup fullback for the injured Williams, who left the game in the first half, and that time Chapman just manhandled him and threw the quarterback to the ground.
So Dade County is going to be forced to punt it away, and the Hurricanes will go back deep to receive. 6:42 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Hurricanes are leading it 33-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard as Dade County set to punt it away. The Canes back off for a return. Punter gets his foot underneath it and sends it deep. That ball's going to bounce at the 25-yard line and take a Dade County roll down to the 22, where the Hurricanes will take over 1st and 10 with 6:18 to go in the 3rd, leading it 33-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. And what a 2.5 quarters of football we've seen by the Hurricanes.
Well, extend that to 6.5 quarters. If you take that back to last week, they've just looked dominant. They've looked superior to everybody they've played, and they've really made very few mistakes. Last week was nearly flawless. This week, with the exception of the first offensive possession that Dade had, where Cartersville penalized themselves into giving up a touchdown, they've looked very strong.
All right, Hurricanes up at the line of scrimmage. They'll bring a slot to the right side of the formation, tight end to the left. Brown the lone setback, and they give it to him up the middle. Brown breaking some tackles, gets across the 25, and that's where he'll be brought down. And kind of a dangerous play for Ronnie Brown as he gets a couple yards on the play, and Dade County wrapping up the legs.
Well, a lot of the Cartersville faithful believing that he was wrapped up by the face mask as well, Scott. It looked to me like he was tackled up high around the helmet. If he wasn't grabbed around the face mask right there, it sure looked close. And like you said, he was also bundled up a lot down low. Good thing that he came out there without a knee getting twisted or anything like that.
3 yards on the carry, puts the ball at the 25-yard line. It's 2nd and 7 as the Hurricanes go under center. 2 backs in the backfield, tight end to the left side. Deach under center, and he gives it to Chris Griffin around the right end. Left end, rather. He's across the 30-yard line, the 35, and wrestled out of bounds at the 37. So with 5:27 to go in the 3rd, the clock stops as the Hurricane offense moves the chains. Another first down. And the Canes have the ball at the 38-yard line. They're going to give them a little forward progress. And the Hurricane offense moving the football again.
And that time Luke Bunce once again making a nice block, staying with his man to the outside. They actually pulled him from the offside, and he was able to tie up the defender, allowing Griffin to get to the corner.
Tight end to the right side this time. 2 wide receivers. Lovato Johnson to the near side. Slocum to the far side. They send him in motion. 2 backs in the backfield, and they go to J.J. Chapman up the middle. Chapman's across the 40-yard line and brought down at the 41. A short gain for the fullback, and the Canes continue to let the clock run with 5:17 as Deach goes to the sideline to talk to head coach Frank Barden.
They're giving Dade County a little bit of their own medicine right here. Content to play just power football. Let that clock get eaten up and move the ball, not as large a chunks, but moving the ball nonetheless.
Ball at the 41-yard line. It's 2nd and 8 to call as the Canes come up to the line of scrimmage. 2 backs in the backfield. Daniel Price in at wide receiver. He's out to the left side of the formation. Slocum in at the wing, and they go underneath on the crisscross. And Teddy Slocum breaking a tackle, gets across the 45, still on his feet up near the 47-yard line. And a good extra effort there by the junior wingback, and he gets a couple yards there, and that brings up 3rd and short for the Hurricane offense across the 45-yard line out near the 47. And the Hurricanes moving the football.
Well, I can guarantee you when number 2, Daniel Price, is in the game, they're going to try to run the ball to his side of the field. He's excellent at chicken fighting, if you will, with the cornerback in the defensive backfield. A very difficult thing to do, but he's very good at shielding off the defender. That time he did a good job at Slocum, was unable to get to the outside.
Two backs in the backfield, a tight end to the right side, two wide receivers, and they're going to go ahead and send Slocum in motion. And they give it to Chris Griffin around the right end. He breaks a tackle, heads upfield, now breaks one's got the first down and more across the 45-yard line. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds at the 47 of Dade County, but nonetheless, it is a first down, and there's a late penalty flag on the field. And that could be in the range of a late hit as Griffin went out of bounds. And we'll see what the call is, but that may go against the Canes as I see him backing up. The referee's going to sort this one out. I think it might be a clip downfield on the Hurricanes. We'll see what the call is. It's a personal foul against the Hurricanes. So we'll see if Dade County takes it. I'm sure they will, because that was a first down run if they don't. So it was 3rd and short. But it may be, I wonder if it's after the penalty, after the play is dead.
As late as the flag came in, it had to have been, it almost looked like a late hit out of bounds on Cartersville. No, they're going to mark it off from the original line of scrimmage.
And the home crowd not happy with the call.
Scott, it looks like they did mark that from they're giving Cartersville a first down.
So they get the first down, and now they're backed up 15. So that's a good break for the Canes, actually.
Really not a penalty, not that much of a penalty at all. You keep possession, you've got 1st and 10.
Two backs in the backfield for Deach. He's going to send Slocum in motion. And they go right up the middle of the field. Hurricanes running some time off the clock, and they get a couple on the play as the clock continues to run with 3:45 to go here in the 3rd. And the Hurricane offense continuing to move the football. They get 5 on that play, brings up 2nd and 5 with 3:34 to go here in the 3rd. Hurricanes are leading it 33-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. Matt Montgomery brings the troops up to the line of scrimmage.
And watch the run to the outside on the near side of the field here as Daniel Price is back in the game.
Daniel Price in, two backs in the backfield, Chris Griffin and J.J. Chapman, and they give it to Griffin. He tries to get outside. He's got a lane. He's across the 45, still on his feet at midfield, and wrestled out of bounds at the 49-yard line of Dade County. That's good enough for a Hurricane first down. Move the chains, and the Canes are in business again. 3:04 to play here in the 3rd. And a good long time-consuming drive is what the Canes need.
Chris Griffin favoring his left knee or ankle as he was knocked out of bounds on that play.
So Griffin will go to the sidelines to get that thing looked at. And the Hurricanes have the football at the 48-yard line. It's 1st and 10. And Chris Deach will bring the troops up to the line of scrimmage. Two wide receivers to the right side of the formation. Slot to the right side, that's J.J. Chapman, and they give it to Ronnie Brown up the middle. He dances at the line of scrimmage, is caught in the backfield, and tries to turn it around and gets a little loss on the play.
Number 20, Ronnie Brown.
Tough run there for Ronnie Brown. Good defensive effort by Dade County. They met him right in the backfield.
And that's the way you have to, if you know, everybody's talked all season long about trying to stop Ronnie Brown. You surround him with 4 defenders right there and don't give him a chance to get away from you, and that's what they did on that particular play. One of the few times tonight where they've been able to stop him.
Well, Ronnie Brown will leave the game as Wes Gilmer checks in. Two backs in the backfield. That's JJ and Wes. Two wide receivers set, and they're going to go ahead and send Slocum in motion. Deach gives it off to J.J. Chapman around the right end. He's across the 45, powers his way across the 40, and he's very near a first down. A good-looking run by J.J. Chapman. He picks up 12 on the play, and the Hurricanes are very close to moving the chains again. I think he's going to be about a couple inches short. They may need a measurement on this one. They're not going to measure it. It's across the 40-yard line. We'll call it the 39. It's not quite there, though. That's what they need for the first down. It's about halfway between the yardsticks. 3rd and inches the call as the Canes come up to the line of scrimmage. They'll run with two backs in the backfield. They'll send Chapman to the right side of the left side of the formation. He'll go in motion to the right side, and they go up the middle to Wes Gilmer, and he's very close to the first down, and then he's brought back. We'll see where the forward progress got him.
You got a bad mark there, Scott. They're going to be short of the first down. But I think in a situation like this, you can't be shy about going for it. You've got a pretty good lead. You're eating up clock. We're almost at the end of the third quarter. You've just been pounding the football at them.
Well, there's Chris Griffin on the sidelines. Hopefully they can tend to him. Hopefully it's nothing serious. They are wrapping the knee, though. So the Canes go for it on 4th and inches. Up at the line of scrimmage, they'll bring 2 wide receivers to the left side of the formation. Deach under center, slot to the left side, and they give it to Gilmer up the middle, and he powers his way to the 35-yard line, gets the first down, and the Canes move the chains, and that should do it for the third quarter. So they'll reset the chains, and then I think the clock will expire. Ball spotted at the 36-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10. The clock will now restart, and the Canes are going to let this one go before the end of the third quarter. And that does it. At the end of 3, the Hurricanes hold the lead. It's 33-7 here at Weinman Stadium. You're watching the Prestige Division 4 High School Football Game of the Week. We'll be right back after this.
If you're a
And welcome back. You're watching the Prestige Division 4 High School Football Game of the Week. Hurricanes with the ball down on the 34-yard line of Dade County. It's 1st and 10. Chris Gilmer left with an injury a little while ago, but he's walking around on the sidelines. He got taped up and seems to be okay. I don't know if he'll come back and play, but that's good news to see that he's off the bench and all taped up and ready to go. Hurricanes with the football. 2 backs in the backfield. Wide receivers are split, and they're going to go ahead and send Slocum in motion. And they give it to J.J. Chapman outside, and he loses a couple. He's caught back at the 42-yard line. Good defensive presence by the Wolverines. And brings up 2nd and long for the Hurricanes. 11:44 to go here in the game. Hurricanes up 33-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard.
Chris Griffin obviously feeling much better. The first thing he did when he came to the sideline was he got his ankle taped up, put his helmet back on, stood right there on the sideline and unwrapped his ankle. So must have just been a short-term injury instead of a long-term situation.
There you see the score, 33-7 as the Canes go under center. 2 backs in the backfield, and they go right up the middle of the field to Wes Gilmer, and he's hit after a short gain. It'll bring up 3rd and long for the Hurricane offense. But the clock continues to run as we go under 11:11 to play here in the game. Canes up 33-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. Ball spotted at the 39-yard line, and it'll be 3rd and long.
Offense very much in a preservation type mode right now. No real hurry to get to the line. Going to use up as much of the play clock as possible. Running the football, keeping it moving. You can tell how fast that third quarter went by. Cartersville just going to keep on pounding it at Dade.
Canes up at the line. They'll bring the tight end to the left side. They'll go slot right. 1 back in the backfield. Deach under center. And he goes right up the middle to J.J. Chapman. He buries it at the 30-yard line. Still on his feet at the 25. And he's going to be very near the sticks.
Looks like they're going to be about a half yard short, but I would expect for them to go for it again just like they did last time. What a big run.
That puts the ball down on the 27-yard line. They need about 1.5 yards to get the first down. Brings up maybe 2 yards for the first down. Brings up 4th and 2. Ball at the 27-yard line, and the clock goes under 10 minutes to go in the game now. 33-7 our score, and the Hurricanes have been holding the ball for a while now. They're eating the clock and eating up yardage as they march down the field against the Wolverines, and time is running out on Dade County. Canes go with 2 backs in the backfield. They bring the tight end to the right side, and Deach gives it off to Chapman. Chapman powers his way across the 20, the 15, the 10, and brought down at the 5-yard line. First down, Hurricanes move the chains, and they're knocking on the door again with 9:35 to go in the game. And J.J. Chapman taking it up the middle in a ripped jersey and everything. That's a football player right there coming up the middle of the field.
Exactly what you need out of a fullback. Tough running, dragging people behind him, people just hanging on for dear life. He was brought down on the 5. That puts him over the 50-yard mark for tonight. And Cartersville moving the ball on the ground and doing all this without Chris Griffin or Ronnie Brown.
The referee just handed J.J. Chapman half of his jersey back.
He must have pulled it out of a Dade County player's throat because J.J. just took it to him on that play.
They're going to have to restitch that quickly as Chris Griffin will check into the game. Ball spotted at the 6-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Hurricane offense.
And Chris Griffin is back in the ball game for the Hurricanes.
And Deach will come up to the line of scrimmage. 2 backs in the backfield. And he gives it to Griffin up the middle. Griffin trying to shed some tacklers, gets outside and gets to the 5-yard line, gains 1 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and goal. And the clock goes very near 9 minutes, so the Hurricanes continuing to eat up time in the latter half of this game.
Griffin's ankle really taking a beating tonight. That time he actually ran out of the shoe that was on the foot that was wrapped right before he came back into the ball game. So
ball spotted at the 5-yard line as Slocum throws something to the sidelines and now checks back into the game. They'll bring the tight end now to the right side of the formation. Wes Gilmer will line up in the slot. Chris Griffin is the lone setback. 2 wide receivers to the left side of the formation. And Deach under center. And he goes up the middle to Griffin. Griffin trying to get outside to the corner, turns it upfield and gets the touchdown. And the Hurricanes are on the board again with 8:20 to go in the game. What a run by the sophomore back, who just a minute ago was getting taped up. Now he seems okay.
And a great peel back block that time by Teddy Slocum as pursuit was getting towards Chris Griffin. Slocum coming back towards the defender and just knocking off the nearest one and allowing Griffin to get into the end zone.
Well, David Thompson will now come on to attempt the extra point. And the snap is down, the kick is up. And he splits it, the Hurricanes leading it 40-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. We'll take 30 seconds and come back with the kickoff right after this. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium. You're watching the Prestige Division IV High School Football Game of the Week as the Hurricanes just scored again. Chris Griffin went in from 5 yards away, and the Canes lead it 40-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard with 8:20 to play here in the game as Chris Griffin will come to kick it off, and he kicks it right down the middle of the field. That ball is fielded at the 18-yard line. They turn it upfield at the 25, the 30, and still on his feet at the 32-yard line before he's met by a plethora of Hurricane tacklers. And now the Hurricanes going to substitute a little defensively as Andre Fluellen and Orlandis Lauderdale check into the game. The Hurricanes starting to play some of the younger players, and the starters going to have a seat on the bench with a job well done. The Hurricanes up 40-7 with 8:11 to play in this game. And Matt, would you have expected this kind of beating tonight?
Not in my wildest dreams. You know, 6 AA contender beat Pepperell just 2 weeks ago. Emotional win on the road the first week of the playoffs.
High backfield, and they go right up the middle to the fullback. He's across the 35-yard line and brought down at the 37. A gain of a couple on the play, and the clock continues to run as we go under 8 minutes to go in the game. 40-7 our score on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard as Lee Miles will check out defensively. We have some scores from around the area. McEachern has taken the lead on South Gwinnett. It's 24-14. GAC leads Bowden at the halftime, 14-7, and Charlton County all over Irwin, 20-0 in the third. Dade County up at the line of scrimmage. They'll work out of the eye. Wing to the left side of the formation. Nelson drops back, has some time to pass, throws over the middle of the field, has a receiver. It's Burrell, and he's wide open down at the 30-yard line, brought down at the 29. So Dade County moving the football late in the game as the clock continues to move with 7:25 to go here in the game. It stops now as they reset the chains. And then it'll start right back up. Canes leading it 40-7 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard as that ball goes inside the 30-yard line. We'll spot it at the 29. The Canes make some substitutions defensively. Colby Brinson leads the game along with number 95, Orlandis Lauderdale.
Kenny Brown and Mike Rozier both back playing cornerback for the Hurricanes.
High backfield again, wing to the left side, and they pitch it outside. The ball is loose, and they fall on it back at the 41-yard line. Ugly looking play by the Dade County offense, and the Hurricanes were there to put an end to that.
I think ugly is too pretty a word for what just happened on that play. You can see, I don't know if Nelson just had trouble pitching the ball, or if he didn't have control of it, just simply pitched it through Rochester, who was in there to run the ball.
Well, Rochester replacing number 20, Darian Jordan, and we have not seen Jordan here in the second half. So you gotta kind of think something happened to him in the first half. Ball at the 40-yard line. 6.5 minutes now to play in the game as Dade County comes up to the line of scrimmage, facing pretty much a couple starters at linebacker, but almost the entire front four has been replaced now for the Canes. Now under pressure, he throws it deep, has a receiver. The ball's complete inside the 20, the 10, the 5, and Dade County's in the end zone for the touchdown. 40 yards on the pitch and catch for the Dade County offense, and the Wolverines are on the board. It's 40 to 13 rather, as we await the extra point. That ball will be spotted down at the 3 now as they come in to attempt the extra point. And you see the play here. Nelson under center, good job. Brings that slot to the right side. Play action, rolls out and throws it deep, and has a wide open receiver in the backfield, and he takes it the distance. And Dade County will come on to attempt the extra point. And they're going to go for the 2-point conversion. And Nelson drops back, looks for the flat, and is brought down, sacked in the backfield. Good looking play there. Coming in to make the play was Andre Flewellen. And so the Hurricanes stop him on the 2-point conversion. It's 40 to 13. We'll take 30 seconds and come back with the kickoff right after this. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium. You're listening to WBHF and watching the Prestige Division 4 High School Football Game of the Week. At Weinman Stadium, the Hurricanes lead this one 40 to 13. They have made some mass substitutions defensively, and Dade County set to kick it off. And it looks like kind of an onside here, the way they're lined up. 6:10 to go in the game. The Wolverines down by a ton. 40 to 13 the score. And set to kick it off now is Mason Bradford. And Bradford sends it on the onside kick. The ball must go 10 yards. It bounces up, and the Hurricanes knock it out of bounds. Daniel Price coming on to scoop it up, and the Canes will take over with excellent field position. Ball at the 45-yard line, and they bring in a whole new crop of offensive players.
And leading the list of new players is going to be number 19, Jacob McWhorter, who's going to come in and mop things up for Chris Deach, as is his job from week to week. And don't look for anything fancy. Just look for them to run the base offense and continue to take time off this clock.
So the Canes taking over at the 46-yard line. 6:06 to go in the game as McWhorter comes from the sidelines. And the Hurricanes just looking to run the clock now as they come up to the line of scrimmage. Jacob McWhorter under center. 2 backs in the backfield. A wide receiver split to the left side, and they go right up the middle, and it gets nowhere. That was Adam Williams on the carry, wearing number 22 tonight. Williams started the year wearing number 26, but that is Robert Levette's number and has been retired here at Cartersville High School, so he switched jerseys in the past couple weeks. And McWhorter comes from the sidelines and brings the play into the huddle. Canes with the ball back at the 43-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 13 as they come up to the line of scrimmage. 2 backs in the backfield again. Offset to the right side of the formation. McWhorter under center. He gives it off around the right end to Callahan. Callahan with no room to run turns it upfield and gets out of bounds at the 42-yard line. And that'll bring up 3rd and long. And the Canes going out of bounds, stopping the clock with 5:21.
Not really what you want out of this second team offense. You want them to stay in bounds and keep the clock running. As Brandon Moretz comes out and John Underwood comes in. Definitely a throwing down.
McWhorter under center, unbalanced to the left side of the formation. And he pitches it outside to Callahan. Callahan trying to get to the corner. Flag on the play. He turns upfield and he's brought down. The ball is loose. Dade County picks it up and the Wolverines have the football. And I think it's going to be holding against the Hurricanes, so the Wolverines will probably take over. And the defense doing a good job there for Dade County. We'll see what the call is. Holding against the Hurricanes. The penalty is declined and the Wolverines take over. So first down for Dade County. Their offense knocking on the door late in this one. 40-13 our score. Under 5 minutes to go in the game. Ball at the 31-yard line.
Mike Price and Shannon Winters in on the defensive line for Cartersville, along with Ben Matheson. So still wholesale substitutions for Cartersville.
Canes leave some of the linebackers in. Nelson dropping back to pass, throws it deep, puts that ball up for Burrell, and it's in and out of his hands at the 3-yard line. Incomplete pass, and the clock stops with 4:49 to go in the game. It'll bring up 2nd and 10.
And that is Wes Ross on the coverage right there.
The Dade County coaching staff from the booth heading back over to the sidelines, so
they've seen enough from up here. They're going to see if it looks any different from down there.
So the ball at the 31-yard line, 40-13 our score on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. Hurricanes on top of this one. And Dade comes up to the line of scrimmage. Ball on the 31 on the far hash mark. Nelson will go under center. He brings that slot to the right side, eye backfield. And on the crisscross, they give it around the left end. And he's brought down at the 30-yard line. Ball carried by number 21, Matt Edgeworth. So Dade County starting to go to their bench a little bit. And that'll bring up 3rd and long. 4.5 minutes to go in the game as the clock continues to run. And Dade County will huddle it up, take their time coming to the line of scrimmage. The clock continuing to run. We'll get close to 4 minutes before this play goes underway. Gene Nelson gets the call from the sidelines, brings it into the huddle. And here come the Wolverines down by 27 as we go very near 4 minutes to play in the game. 40-13 our score. Nelson under center, I formation. He drops back to pass under play action, throws across the middle of the field, and the ball is in and out of the hands of number 16, Wes Ross. And Ross was looking for daylight and just had that football, and a tough break for him in and out of his hands. It'll bring up 4th down for the Wolverines, and I assume they'll go for it this late in the game.
Well, Wes is he's kind of playing backyard football at this point, just in regards that he's the only starter on the defensive backfield that's still in there. They're leaving him in the ball game to shadow Adam Burrell. And he really read this. He read this one good. You can see as the ball comes to him, he's jumped that pattern to the inside and had great coverage right there. Really had an eye on the ball before it even left the quarterback's hand, and unfortunately couldn't come up with it. But a great defensive play.
4th and 9, the call for the Wolverines. Out of the eye. Nelson under play action, now under some pressure. Rolls out and throws it deep. Has a receiver. That ball's caught down inside the 15-yard line. They'll spot it at the 13. It'll be a first down for Dade County as they convert the 4th down. And the clock stops with 3:48 to go in the game as they reset the chains. And the Wolverines will come up to the line of scrimmage. And Dade trying to get as much as they can late in this game. We do have a penalty flag now on the far side of the field, as the referees have a little conference there on the far sideline. We'll see what the call is. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Dade County, so that'll back them up 15 yards. So that'll bring the ball back to the 27-yard line. It'll still be 1st and 10, though, for the Wolverines. So the ball at the 27-yard line, and Dade County comes up to the line of scrimmage. They'll work again with the eye backfield, bring slot to the left side of the formation, tight end to the right side. Nelson dropping back under play action, has some time, now under some pressure, rolls out to his right, heads upfield, has some room to run across the 20-yard line and inside the 15. So another first down for Dade County, so this clock stops as he goes out of bounds with 3:27 to go in the game. 40-13 the score. Ball spotted at the 16-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 now for the Wolverines.
That was Thomas Moore that finally ran him out of bounds.
David Montgomery now checks out of the game for the Canes as Dade comes up to the line of scrimmage. I formation. Wing to the left side, and they pitch it outside to the tailback. He's across the 10, the 5, inside the 5, and brought down at the 2-yard line. Jason Rochester on the carry for Dade County. And now the Wolverines are knocking on the door as the clock stops while they reset the chains. It'll be 1st and goal from the 3.
Brett Williamson making his way into the ball game, along with Quincy Chupp.
Clock moving. Very close to 3 minutes to play in the game. Ball inside the 5. Dade County up at the line of scrimmage. Working out of the I. Power I formation as they split the second fullback up middle, and they go right up the gut. And they're very near the goal line. I believe they're in, and they are. Dade County puts another 6 on the board. And the Wolverines will probably go for 2 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the game. So Coach Hoblitzel sends in his offense again for another crack at a 2-point conversion. They failed the last time they went for one. So Dade County will try to get something going. 2 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the game, and the Wolverines go under center, out of the I. Nelson with a long snap count goes up the middle to the fullback, and I believe he's got it. Touchdown. So 2-point conversion is good, and it's 40-21. We'll take 30 seconds and come back with a kickoff right after this. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium. You're listening to WBHF and watching the Prestige Division IV High School Football Game of the Week with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the game. Dade County scores another touchdown late in this one, and they're just trying to climb back in. It's gone to the benches now as they'll try to go with the onside kick. Mason Bradford in to do it again. And the Wolverines will line up. They were close to getting it the last time. They send it 10 yards, and Dade County's going to come up with the football. So the Wolverines get the ball again. 2 minutes and 47 seconds to go in the game. They trail by 19.
Well, the one good thing about it is none of the offensive starters are going to get hurt. The defense has been on the field for the majority of the fourth quarter, and just killing time out there right now, quite honestly. You know, it's a 19-point game, 2:47 left to go.
And many people would ask, why would you bring in the starters? Well, that's really what you should do. A, you're getting the younger guys in the game. B, you're not taking the chance of having a starter injured late in the game when somebody may be a little frustrated. So Dade County takes over at the 49-yard line, 1st and 10. Wolverines under center. Gene Nelson goes play action, drops back, throws it deep, and that's going to be incomplete. Flag on the play, though.
Yeah, there was early movement that time on Dade. Looked like their wing back started upfield a little bit early.
The other thing this does is, at this point in the season, it doesn't matter how much you're winning by. I mean, you don't need to win impressively. You just need to win to get to the next round. Nobody cares how much you won by when you come to the next round to play. Many people have questioned Region 7 AA. I have not yet had some scores from around the area, but I know that Gilmer was hanging with Carrollton early in the game. It was 7-6, the last score we got, and that was in the third quarter. So a 1-point game in Carrollton. And, Gilmer was the number 4 team out of 7 AA. Carrollton, arguably one of the best teams in 6 AA. And it's kind of showing you that 7 AA is not as bad as everybody thought.
Well, it's all coming out in the wash, Scott, and that is evident by that Gilmer score. That surprises me. I didn't hear that earlier.
Nelson dropping back in the pocket, has some time, looks upfield. Ball at the 45-yard line. He turns upfield, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 47. Now, in another game at the half, Hart County led North Forsyth. Now, Hart's a very good football team, and so is North Forsyth. We do not have an updated score on that, and I'll hopefully get one at the next break. But you're seeing what the rest of the region is doing tonight, and, of course, the clinic that Cartersville put on here for Dade County. I mean, really, this score is 40-7. I mean, they've scored late here in this game when Cartersville cleared the bench.
And I'm not even sure that that's indicative of how well Cartersville's played tonight. They've just turned it up a notch since these playoffs have started, and they've really served notice that they're for real.
Dade County with the football, tight end to the right side, out of the eye. They go crisscross and give it to number 21 around the right end. That's Matt Edgeworth, and he's brought out of bounds near the first down marker. I believe he's got it as he goes out of bounds with 2:24 to go in the game. And the Hurricane starters having a good time on the sidelines, and the Cane cheerleaders having an equally as good time. Ball spotted at the 37-yard line of the Canes. It's 1st and 10 for Dade County. The Wolverines go into the huddle. Clock is stopped with 2:24 to play in the game. Gene Nelson brings his troops up to the line of scrimmage. A wing to the right side, unbalanced. He drops back under pressure, gets hit hard by Shannon Winters, and that ball goes incomplete.
Wow, and he's still feeling that. Shannon Winters really came through and laid a lick on him right there, just as Nelson got rid of the ball. That played a large part in that ball falling as short as it did, and Nelson still shaking the cobwebs.
So the ball at the 37-yard line, it'll bring up 2nd and 10. And the clock is stopped with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to play in this one. Cartersville leading it 40-21 on the Bartow County Bank scoreboard. Dade up at the line of scrimmage, I formation. Nelson dropping back now under some pressure. Shannon Winters came after him, and you saw Nelson kind of cower in fear. Shannon Winters giving him nightmares late in this game.
Turned him into Pavlov's dog with one hit. That time, just the mere sight of number 71 coming off the corner made him pull the ball down and basically just fall towards the line of scrimmage. You know, one last thought about keeping your second team in here. People don't realize these guys put in just as much time as the starters do. They work real hard in practice, and this is a great opportunity for them to get some extended playing time in playoff football. These are the guys that are going to be there next year and the year after.
Canes load the line of scrimmage on the crisscross. They go to Edgeworth again. He's across the 35 down near the 30-yard line. Edgeworth picks up about 7 on that play, and it'll bring up 4th down for the Wolverines. So it's 4th and 5 for Dade County. The clock continuing to run as we go under 1 minute and 20 seconds to go in the game. And Cartersville pretty much just took it to Dade County tonight. The Wolverines scored first. It looked like it might be a rough evening, and the Hurricanes rolled off 40 unanswered points before the Wolverines got anything going. They go up the middle there to number 7, Jason Rochester. He's going to be close to the first down. And they stop the clock with 55 seconds to go in the game. They're going to probably ask for the measurement. If they don't get it, the game is over because the Hurricanes will have the football. But if they do get it, we'll have some extended play here in the final 55 seconds of this one. A very short game. Our playing time right now, 2 hours and 9 minutes. And I mean, last week we were here 3.5 hours. I think we left about 11:30. So Canes getting it done. And it's a first down the other way. They did not get the first down, and the Hurricane offense will take over. 55 seconds to go, and it's probably time to take a knee. Head coach Frank Barden, what a career he's had here at Cartersville. He came in first year 6-4, rebuilt the program the next year. A tough season, then he came back with an 11-1 year last year, and he's 12-0 in his 4th season as the head coach of the Cartersville Hurricanes. And what a job he and his staff have done here. That Hurricane coaching staff, Don Breedlove, Stuart Chester, James Jones, Clay Livingston, Brad Payne, Roger Lowe, Keith Trotter, Jeff Hogan, Woody James, Martin Foster, George Burkett, and Donald Rucker. And the Canes take a knee as we go under 50 seconds to play in the game. Canes in full command of this one, 40-21. The Hurricanes will move on to round number 3, the state quarterfinals. And a win next Friday night would give us a date in the Dome in 2 weeks. And the Canes taking another knee. Dade County coming through, and the clock goes under 25 seconds to go in the game. Dade County season coming to an end with an overall record of 9-3. The Hurricanes, they improved to 12-0. As the clock will continue to run, under 15 seconds to go. And the Hurricanes are 3 games away from a state championship. 1 night away from a trip to the Georgia Dome. And the Canes are going to the show next week. Dade County or Washington County right here at Weinman Stadium. Same time, same place. We're going to take 30 seconds, come back. And welcome back to Weinman Stadium as the Hurricanes are headed to the state quarterfinals with a record of 12-0. Dade County, their season comes to an end with a record of 9-3. The final from Weinman Stadium, 40-21. We break down the scoring. The Canes trailed early as Darian Jordan went in from 5 yards out, and Dade County led it 7-0. Then minutes later, the Canes went 76 yards from Chris Deach to Teddy Slocum. That deadlocked it at 7 apiece. Then J.J. Chapman scored from 4 yards away. It was 14-7. David Thompson added a 27-yard field goal to make it 17-7. Then Lee Miles scored on a 45-yard interception return to make it 24-7. Chris Deach then hooked up with Courtney Chapman from 32 yards away. The kick failed, and it was 30-7. Then in the third, 7 minutes and 59 seconds to go, David Thompson connected again, this time from 22 yards away, and it was 33-7. Then late in the game, Chris Griffin went in from 5 yards out. That made it 40-7. Dade County got some touchdowns late in the game against the second string, and the Hurricanes are headed to round number 3 of the 1999 state playoffs, where they'll either meet the winner of Dade County and Washington County right here at Weinman Stadium next Friday night. Let's break down some of the stats in this game.
Well, Dade County only able to muster 203 yards of total offense tonight against the Cartersville defense. 87 of that via the pass and 116 through running the ball. The big runner for them was Darian Jordan. He had 17 carries for 68 yards. That was all in the first half. Did not see action in the second half. For Cartersville, impressive again this evening as they rack up 381 yards in total offense, led by Chris Deach, 5 of 10 for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns on the evening. Ronnie Brown, only 9 carries, still able to get 105 yards. Other people for Cartersville getting the job done, Chris Griffin and J.J. Chapman, each with over 50 yards. Teddy Slocum, the 76-yard touchdown reception. And Courtney Chapman, who we talked about in the pregame, had 2 big receptions, 32-yard touchdown pass and a 16-yard reception for a total of 48 yards in receiving. Not very many nights for Cartersville's Lavada Johnson going to be your 3rd most effective receiver.
Well, there you have it. That's our final score tonight from Weinman Stadium. The Hurricanes are wrapping up another win, 40-21. They're headed to the state quarterfinals next Friday night. Dade County's season comes to an end with a record of 9-3. So next weekend it'll be Dade County or Washington County right here at Weinman Stadium. I'd like to thank the crew for tonight's game. Brandon Brantley doing a great job in the truck, along with Jeff Coleman, Brett Savage on the sidelines, Amanda Smith up top, and the rest of the crew that worked in tonight's game. I'm Scott Singer along with Matt Santini saying good night from Weinman Stadium.